All they could do was name him and give him a place to rest. The unknown baby, only 2 hours old, was found dead December 8, 1993, after animals dragged him into a woman's yard. That morning, the homeowner noticed what she thought was a doll in her yard. When she walked outside to retrieve the toy, she realized it was a newborn baby. The child's throat was cut and he had suffered a blow to the head, which is believed to have caused his death. The Choctaw County Sheriff's Office responded and then contacted the OSBI to request investigative assistance. The Office of the Oklahoma Chief Medical Examiner's Office performed an autopsy of Baby Doe and determined Baby Doe was born alive and the manner of death was homicide as a result of his throat being slashed and his head beaten. Despite numerous interviews during the initial investigation, the parents could not be located. Almost immediately after the baby's death was announced, townspeople started calling the funeral home, asking what they could do. The mayor took charge of the collection drive and arranged local publicity to raise money. Donations started pouring in. "I wanted the baby to be buried in Babyland," the mayor said. "I didn't want it to be buried out by itself. I wanted it to be buried with the other babies." Gifford Monuments donated a headstone. Several florists sent flowers and multiple clergymen officiated at the service. "We've had people out at the cafes who have donated money to buy the grave space with," Prider said. "Of course we donated the casket and the service." This isn't the only tragedy to strike Hugo in recent months. Luke Sheehan, 52, and his wife, Mary, 47, died on December 17th after gunman David Mack Flynn bought a rifle at a pawn shop in Hugo and hours later opened fire in the nearby Walmart parking lot. The Sheehans were Christmas shopping. 2 weeks before, arsonists set fire to downtown Hugo, destroying one side of a city block. Historic buildings were reduced to rubble, and 3 businesses were forced to close. The mayor said they hope this funeral will be the beginning of the end to the town's recent woes. Baby Doe had DNA collected, but the case went cold. Nearly 30 years went by before the case was reopened in October 2020. OSBI's cold case unit reopened the case, bringing in criminalists working with their biology unit and others from their forensic science center. Together, they submitted Baby Doe's DNA to Parabon Nanolabs. 6 months after reopening the case, the Bureau received results from Parabon Nanolabs that ultimately led them to the identity of Baby Doe's mother. OSBI investigators identified Meonia Michelle Allen as the boy's mother with help from Parabon Nanolabs. In April 2021, the results from Parabon were reviewed by the OSBI team, and investigative leads as a result of the test results were pursued, authorities said. Earlier this month, additional DNA testing resulted in Allen being identified as the baby boy's mother. A special agent met with Allen on June 15th at the Durant, Oklahoma Police Department. During the interview, Allen agreed to submitted samples of her DNA to be tested to determine if she was the biological mother of Baby Doe. About 20 minutes after that initial interview ended, Allen called the agent and admitted the baby was her son. She initially claimed that her son had been stillborn. A few days later, in a follow-up interview, Allen was shown the baby's autopsy report, the agent wrote. Allen admitted to cutting the baby's throat shortly after his birth. Agents conducted numerous interviews in the aftermath of the baby's death, including interviewing Allen, who was then 25 years old and worked at a daycare center at the time, was working for the homeowner who found Baby Doe and dating the homeowner's son. Investigators learned that Allen had spent the night at the home, so they interviewed her on December 17th, 9 days after the homicide, the Oklahoman reported. She told detectives she had never seen a pregnant woman at the house. Despite the investigation, no suspects in the homicide were identified. After reviewing the document, Allen provided information that she had become pregnant and did not tell anyone of the pregnancy, including her parents or current boyfriend, the agent wrote in the affidavit. She intended to have Baby Doe at the hospital and put it up for adoption after its birth. That never happened. On December 7th, 1993, Alan had spent the night at her boss's home, along with her boyfriend, his son, and her daughter. During the early morning hours of December 8th, 1993, she had a physical altercation which caused her to go into labor, the affidavit states. Alan went to a barn on the property and gave birth to Baby Doe. She retrieved it, the weapon, from the house, the agent wrote. She then carried the baby behind the well house and cut Baby Doe's throat. It was unclear if Alan told the agent what she used to kill her son, but she said she carried the child to the house after his birth and laid him on a couch outside. Alan surrendered to state authorities after a warrant was issued for her arrest, charging her with first-degree murder, according to the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation. As of May 2024, her bond is set to $1 million, and her charges are officially set to murder in the second-degree felony. She has entered a plea of not guilty.